Hey guys, I'm back here with a new Valorant video, and today I'll be talking about settings and get into some games. So I'm not with Gabriel because he does not play Valorant, but he will be soon. So first you want to go over here, go into settings. The first couple are actually preference. So of course you gotta verify. I have not verified. Do your language, enemy highlight color. I do yellow because it is the easiest to see, but this you can do whatever you want. For mouse sensitivity aim, scope sensitivity multiplier, ADS sensitivity multiplier, I go to download something called Aim Labs and find your sensitivity aim, and these are just preference. For inverted mouse, click off. For beta RON put buffer, put on. For map, put rotate, not fixed. Fixed means it stay in place. Rotate means wherever you are, it will move with it. For fixed orientation, based on side. Keep player centered, that is off because you always want to be moving. Minimap size, I feel like the smaller the better, so I keep it at 1.079, but this is also preference. Minimap zoom, same thing. Minimap vision cons, on, to see where enemies are. Never show map region name, never. Hide my name from the players outside of my party. The privacy are all preference, but I keep them all off. Other, first person handiness, I always do right because I'm right-handed. Always show inventory, off, you don't really need to see it all the time. Player loadout's always visible, off, again it can be distracting. Cycle to next slash preview weapon wraps inventory, off, preference. Cycle to next slash preview weapon including spike, off. Show mature content. This is depending on the player, but showing mature content can be blood, or if they die, it could be confetti. Show corpses, off. Doing this, showing corpses can also be a distraction. Show blood, on. Unstable indicators, on, which means if you have too low ping, or if the ping is too high, or your frame rates are down. Network buffering minimum, because I do not want my thing to buffer. Show bullet tracers, on, so I can see where the bullets are. Show spectator count, on. Again, these are preference, but I keep most of them off. Show player keybinds on minimap, on, of course. And the rest of these are pretty preference. Next we go into controls. Again, I just use the base settings, but whatever feels more natural for you. Of course, you want WASD for the movement. Default movement mode, running, you basically never want to walk. Walk is left shift. Toggle walk, off. Jump is spacebar, of course, but whatever makes you feel. Left control for crouch, it can also be shift depending on the player. Toggle crouch off because I don't want to have to press it and I can just hold it. Fly up spacebar because of jump. Toggle cheat ghost. This can be anything. If it doesn't mess with this. For equipment, fire left and right mouse button, of course. Toggle zoom, I do not have toggle zoom. And like I'm saying, most of these are preference, so just scroll through these and see what's gonna make you more comfortable. And interface. But yeah. Crosshair, I use this crosshair because it shows head, like the player's head, and you can see it more easily. But whatever crosshair fits you is good. So I use 0.5 outline opacity, outline thickness 1, center dot off, center dot opacity 1, center dot thickness 2, override firing error offset with crosshair offset off, override all primary crosshairs with my primary crosshair off. Show linear lines, on. Inner line capacity 1, inner line length 2, and then this doesn't really matter. Inner line offset 2, movement error off, movement error multiplier 1, firing error off, firing error multiplier 1. Show outer lines off, outer line opacity 0.35, outer line length 2, this doesn't really matter. Outer line thickness 2, outer line offset 10, movement error on, move and air multiplier 1, firing air on, firing air multiplier 1, and that's it. I would also recommend using cyan because it is the easiest to see. Next we go to video. I recommend full screen, whatever resolution fits your computer, and then the monitor you are using. Aspect ratio, I use letterbox. Limit FPS on battery, I do 60 FPS. Max FPS is 60. Max FPS in menus, 144. The reason you want this on 60 is because if your FPS is too high in game, it can lag out, but that depends on the player. Max FPS in background, I do 30 because I don't want it running too big. Max FPS always, 60 of course. And then NVIDIA Reflex low latency, turn it on. Graphics quality, I do multi-thread rendering on, and then everything low so it can run the best it possible. And then I do vintage off, VSync off, anti-analyzing, whatever fits your computer, but I use MSAA2X, aniscopic filtering 16x, improv clarity off, beta experimental sharpening off, bloom on, distortion off, cast shadows off because the shadows can be distracting. Stats, I just do hide for all of them, but this also depends on the player. Finally, audio, all of this depends on the player. I would turn on VoIP Ducks music, but that's on you. Voice chat, again, all preference, but for this, put party voice chat on, party voice during custom game. Push to talk I would recommend because you don't want to always be talking. And team voice chat on. Voiceover, gameplay, agent flavor, tactical callouts, announcer, Maxbot gameplay VO, Maxbot flavor VO, VoIP Ducks flavor VO off, and that's it. So today I will be playing a game. So this game mode is you have to get to 100 kills, and you can pick any character that you've unlocked and use their abilities, but they recharge over time. I'm gonna mute all of my team. Oh, wrong thing, save the And this person has already been muted because of inappropriate behavior. So I will pick, as you can see, I've unlocked every character. So I'll pick Breach. There are a lot of different characters. There are initiators, duelists, I'm blanking. Okay, I'll remember them later. But do whatever character makes you happy. Duelists are usually used for killing. They usually get the most kills in a game. And then initiators are the one who kind of, and also duelists have to rush into sight if you're playing. This is not a game where there's a sight. But so this is a special game mode. But usually when you're playing competitive or unrated or spike rush, you have to either you're on defense, so you have to keep people off of the site, or you're on attack, so you have to plant on the site. And there are 2 to 3 sites, 3 sites on some maps, 2 on most. And that's basically the main goal. This game mode is try and get as many kills as possible, which I find most fun. So I'm waiting for my team. There's an assortment of guns that I will show after, but this game gives you a select option of guns you can play. And you get better guns throughout the game, progressing. As you can see, I just died. I'm still relatively new to this game compared to others, but I would say I'm pretty good. And this character, he has a blind or a flash, which the player cannot see. He has a little beam that can kill players, and he has a stun, which stuns players. Okay, I just died. And in the top, you can see stage 1, 843. The game has 10 minutes, I think, and the goal is to get to 100. Your team to get to 100 kills by the end. And in the bottom, you can see my abilities are recharging. Also, there are different. If you get 5 kills, it is called an ace. In each game, there are 5 players on each team. But yeah. And the skins, they have different animations for when you kill someone. So you see how there's a little head down there. For other skins, you can get like sometimes it's for the ocean one, it's an anchor. There are many different variants. But I don't really like spending money on this game because I would rather use it somewhere else. Again, it's not up to me on what you spend your money on. It's just whatever makes you happy. That's my bad. And I would recommend this game to most people if they like action. I find it really enjoyable, but I can get why people play CS:GO and other games like that. And in the bottom where it says like you see that big ability that says 66% and it says X, that is my ultimate ability. In a real game it would take like points to get it, which you can get from these little balls. Where are they? These little, they're not here right now, but there's little balls. Dying or getting kills, planting spike, or defusing spike. And then if you have the points to use it, it's basically a really good, it's their best ability that can do a lot of damage or push people out of the place they're in. Like his ability pushes people out of sight because it has a really big radius. Oh, I whiffed those shots. Oh, I just picked up one of the balls. I will also be reviewing the characters and their abilities after this. Next video we'll be getting into ranked and the ranks in the game. Oh, so as you can see, I'm 3% away from the and my ultimate ability. Oh, okay, I have it now. So I will not be using it because of situation. I got a headshot. The different guns do different damage, but I would recommend, these are the little balls for the ultimate, but I would recommend getting either the Vandal or the Phantom. It also depends on preference. But Vandal can one tap, but it isn't as fast as Phantom. While but the Phantom cannot one tap headshot. Or I think okay, so the Vandal here, I'll explain. It actually says here. See, the Phantom, it does less damage the farther away you are, while the Vandal does the same damage no matter the distance, except from 0 after 50 it does more damage. But you'll never be firing this gun from more than 50 meters away. So I use Vandal because it gets more kills, but it really depends on the player. Oh. I did not mean to flash that teammate. I'm gonna say sorry. In this game, remember to always be kind to your teammates because it brings the team a lot, just kindness in general. But it helps the community. I don't know though. Do whatever you want, but that's what I recommend. We need more nice people in this game because my one downside is that there are a lot of toxic players. But if they're toxic, just mute them or report them because don't waste your time talking to them. I don't know. That's how I feel. See, I'm gonna use my ult now. Oh, I missed this guy, but I still got the kill. Oh, I missed the ace, but it's fine. We'll start playing. Both of us will start playing Valorant, but for now it'll be just me and the viewer. But yeah. Oh, someone's getting mad. Oh, I knew he was gonna be there. Well, that's game, please, and that'll be it for today. So let me go to career. So we will start from the beginning. Where is it? It's Sage. So Sage has her wall, which is just a wall. A ball that slows down people. It's a throwable, or it's a projectile. A healing orb that can heal herself or her teammates. It heals herself for 40 health and her teammates for 100. And her ultimate ability, which is the revive. We have Skye, who can, same thing, she can heal enemies around her, but not, or teammates around her, but not herself. A dog, which can like run towards the enemy and stun them. A flash, which is you can control it and then flash. And her ultimate, which can find out where people are and stun them. For Sova, he has his owl drum, which is a little owl that you can use in the sky that can scan people. His shock bolt, which does damage to people. It's a little arrow. His recon bolt, which can find out where people are, and his hunter's fury, which it's a giant bow that finds where people are if you hit them and does damage. Viper has snakebite, which is a little thing. It does molly damage, which is it's like poison on the floor. Poison cloud, which is it's a little ball of poison that does damage, but you heal it back. Toxic screen, which the same thing. It's a little ball of damage, or it's like a wall of damage that you can walk through, and then you regain health. And then Viper's Pit, which is it fills up areas with what's it called? Her poison. And if you go in, you can get down to 1 HP, but if you leave, you regain all your health back. Not all of it, like the health you had before you went in. Yoru, he has the fake out, which is just a clone of himself. Blindside, which it's a ball that can bounce off walls that flashes people. Gate Crash, which is a teleporter, and Dimensional Drift, which is he goes invisible and can seek out people. Gravity, so Astra's a special character. She has stars, which can either pull people in, stun people, or make a what's it called? A smoke. And then her ultimate is a giant wall that you cannot shoot through. Breach, as you just saw, has a little fire thingy, a flash, a stun, and a really big stun. Brim has a stim, the Brimmy Stimmy, that you can throw it down, and then it speeds up people's firing and like how fast they are. A Molly, which can bounce off walls, that does fire damage. A smoke, and his orbital strike, which blows up a really big area, or not blows up, but it there's like a laser beam from the sky. Trademark, this guy's very hard to describe. Trademark, it scans enemies, and then it like if it sees them, it slows them down. Headhunter is basically a Deagle from Fortnite. Red Divs is a teleporter, and Torrid de Force is a very big and good sniper that slows people after they die, after they get killed by it. Cypher has Tripwire, which is it's a wire that you place that if someone walks over it, they get stunned. Cyber Cage is a smoke pretty much that if people step into that are not on your team, you can hear it, and it's like a little sound effect. Spy Cam is a really good ability that you can place down a camera, and you can see through it. And then the neutral thief is instant. It like sees where everybody is. Deadlock is the newest character. She has a Gravinet, which is a molly that crouches people and makes them slower. A sonic sensor, which detects noise and then they get stunned. Barrier mesh, which is a wall that can be shot through. And then annihilation, which is a little thingy that if you hit someone with it, they turn into a cocoon, and then they if it gets to the little thingy, they die. Fade has the Prowlers, which are two things that seek out people. They're like little dogs. Seize, which if someone's in the area, then they get sucked into the little ball. Haunt, which can see if it's a molly that turns into like a little thingy that you can see where people are. And Nightfall, which is it's kind of like Breach's ult, except it does damage and makes people like stunned, not stunned, but they can't hear anything and they're kind of blind for a little bit. Mosh Pit, which is this gecko. Mosh Pit, which is a molly. Wingman, which is a great ability. It can scan where people are. Also plant and diffuse spike. Dizzy, which is a flash that like sprays his little juice at people. And then Thrash, which disables people so they can't shoot and they're very slow. We have Harbor. He has Cascade, which is a wave that pushes forward but you can stop at any time. Cove, which is it's a smoke, but it has like an outer shield for a little bit that absorbs damage. High Tide, which is a wall that you can move around, and Reckoning, which almost clears an entire area, and if anybody's there, in like a radius, it stuns them. We have Jet. Oh, sorry. We have Jet. She has Cloudburst, which is a smoke. She has Updraft, which it makes you go up. She has Tailwind, so you press E or whatever button you use to activate this ability, and then you press it again, and then you do a little dash. And then she has Blade Storm, which are very accurate blades that if you kill someone with, they can it respawns unless if you use them all at once. There are two abilities. There's the singular one, or the you can use them all at once. There's KO with a molly that does a lot of damage, a really good flash that can bounce off walls, a zero/point which can disable abilities, and then a null/EMD which is the same thing but it's constant, and then he shoots faster and he can be revived. There's Killjoy. She has Nanoswarm, which is a molly. Alarmbot, which is kind of like Chambers, little thingy, tripwire or whatever it's called, but it makes people vulnerable, which means you can do more damage. She has a turret that fires, but it does very low damage. And then she has Lockdown, which is basically what Gecko has. There's Neon. She has Fast Lane, where it's a wall that cannot do damage to anybody, but it goes down pretty quickly. She has Relay Bolt, which are two little energy bolts that you can bounce against the wall. She has High Gear, which is she goes really fast and she can slide once per 2 kills. She has Overdrive, which is the same thing, but she can slide again. And then she has like a little beam of energy. It's really good. There's Omen, Shrouded Step. He can teleport in a decently large radius. Paranoia, which blinds people and they can't hear. Dark Cover, which is a spike. Not a spike, a smoke. And then from the shadows, he can teleport anywhere. We have Phoenix. He has a Blaze, which is his wall. It can go distance and it heals him. Phoenix gets healed by his fire and his fire abilities. He has Curveball, which is a flash that can bounce off the floor and walls. He has Hot Hands, which is a molly, and he has Run It Back, which means he can if he uses this ability, he sets like a respawn point, but he's invincible for that time. But he still can die. We have Raze, who has Boombot, which is a bot that lasts for 5 seconds that seeks people, and if it finds them, it blows up and does damage. Blast Pack, which is it's usually used for movement, but you can do damage with it. It blasts you forward. Paint Shells, which is a grenade, pretty understandable. And then Showstopper, which is a giant rocket that's very good. Reyna, she is kind of useless, but people find her fun. Lear, which it's useless to the team. She's good for like the player, but not really add anything to the team. Lear, which is a blind, so people can't see, but they have to shoot it out. She has Devour, which heals her for 100 HP. She has Dismiss, which makes her invincible, but people can like the bullets go through her, but people can see her. Impress is a good ability. It makes her faster. The Dismiss, she becomes fully invisible. She gets infinite of these abilities, and everything turns purple, so it's easier to see. So those are all the characters, and that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.